Oh, hi.
Hey.
Nice meeting you here in this fashion.
Yeah, same to you. What's going on with your body?
Well, I like to leave my body in a nice sea salt bath so that when I get back, I am properly exfoliated and I just have a nice sheen on my skin.
Oh.
What about yourself? What do you do?
I mean, I just got bored while I was taking a dookie, so my phone was dead, so
I think I've got to go through a rift or something.
yeah. I think I'm done, actually. No, I'm not done yet. Hi everyone, welcome to GameGorgon. My name is Krug.
I'm Indigo.
Today we're here to talk to you about the Mystic in Starfinder, the Space Cleric, the
what?
Space Cleric.
All right, with the Space Cleric, I mean the Mystic,
Yep.
You're going to have 6 health points by choosing the class, and then you're also going to have 6 plus your Constitution for your stamina. You also get 6 plus your Intelligence for skills.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
it's not the 8, but you
No.
know. Well, because it's not an intelligence-based class, it's kind of lower on the rung. Like
Sure.
a 6 plus intelligence for skills is pretty good when intelligence is your base.
Something that you're going to use, but the mental faculties of this class are just wisdom and charisma.
Yeah, wisdom mostly, and then charisma is its secondary so that you can work in social situations because
Yep.
you're not going to be using strength that often.
Yep.
Dexterity could be one if you're worried about getting hit, but
Sure.
there are ways around that because you cast spells.
Magic powers.
Maybe you prefer some chicken instead.
You're going to be proficient in light armor, basic melee weapons, and small arms.
Your first class ability is going to be coming in at first level, which is your connection. A connection is it's not necessarily like a deity like it
Yeah.
is with cleric, but it is very much with like a thought or feeling. You know, there's one that's called
That's the most hippie thing I've
well,
ever heard.
I mean, there's one called Overlord, and then
Okay.
there's one called Healing, and so it's like they're not like.
There's no basis for flavor. It's just these are the two like kinds of mechanics that you want to explore, and then you just decide based on the mechanic that you pick what makes sense for your character.
Yeah, so if you were saying that you want to be a healer,
Yes.
right, you would go with the healing mechanic of
Yeah.
connection, right? And they do give you some flavor options,
Okay.
and like it's like basically saying it's like if you choose this, you know, you might worship this god, or you know, like.
But and you might worship this god is like the key there, because in other RPGs, Pathfinder, D&D, all those things, they give you a list of deities, and based on these deities, you get different stuff, and it's really important what deity you pick, and the deity also limits the way you behave if you want to have your character feel complete or whole, or like you're doing it justice. But with this, where it's just like, hey, you're a Healy thing, do whatever you want with that piece of information, you can just make it something that is exactly what you
Yeah.
want it to be. You're not restricted to this predefined list of gods.
You could legitimately be a chaotic evil healer.
Yes, which is good because hey, guess what? Chaotic evil characters take damage too,
Yeah.
and they need a healer, and there has to be some way for that character to exist. And this gives it that option. I love that. I love the flexibility of flavor in like literally every Starfinder class we've gone over so far. Perfect.
Now, with this connection, you're going to basically have set abilities that you're going to gain at different levels.
Yep.
You're also going to be getting additional spells that you're going to have access to.
Sweet.
So, well, let's go into a couple of them.
Sweet. There are a lot of different connections. We picked a low level and a high level one so that you can kind of get an idea of the power curve for connections and get a couple examples about how specific ones work. So here they are.
The first connection we've chosen is Mindbreaker, and at 3rd level with Mindbreaker, you're going to get Backlash. Whenever a foe succeeds at a will save against one of your spells and completely negates the effect, that foe takes 1 non-lethal damage for each Mystic level you have. This is a mind-affecting pain effect.
That's pretty cool. Like,
It scales.
That's an investment.
Sure.
Like, I think at 3rd level, if you take that, that's going to be like, okay, well.
I mean,
But
3 damage is more than nothing.
it is more than nothing, but I think it gets strong at level like 15.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And yes, the health of your enemies does scale with your health, but also there are enemies that are built around being difficult to hit, but not having very much health. And so if those enemies are scaling up, they're going to be scaling with their difficulty to hit more than they are with their health. And so I think this gets more valuable the higher you get in level.
I just also think that this makes it so that it's not an all or nothing situation.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's beneficial. It's like, yeah, I cast a spell and you succeeded the will save and now nothing happens. It feels shitty.
Yeah.
But when you're like, okay, well, they still take 3 damage, it's not nearly as bad.
No, yeah, I super agree with that. And it also helps against things that you can't overcome, like something that can literally resist all of your spells that have saving throws, because it's like the one saving throw that you can have it make, it has a really high value for. You're still doing damage to it. You're not completely useless. You don't have to pull out a ranged weapon at that point, in which case you'd miss constantly, because let's face it, you suck at that. We also picked Absolute Control, which is level 18 from the Overlord connection. When you issue a command to a dominated creature that would force it to act against its nature, you can spend 1 resolve point to deny it a new saving throw against your domination. The dominated creature still won't carry out an obviously self-destructive order. That's very oppressive. That's just like, that's incredibly, it's very close to game changing. The fact that you could just be like, hey, no save. Just for, a resolve point's a valuable resource, but that's a very valuable change to the way a spell works. It's really good for a specific kind of character, to like somebody that's going for that like utterly, completely domineering kind of build. But for that character, it is just so satisfying to use.
Oh yeah.
So good.
It's an 18th level ability,
Yeah.
so I mean,
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And just think of like the flavor options for that. Like you use the spell and then you tell them to do something and you see them trying to resist and you just give them the stare and they're like, okay, I'll do it. It's not even magical. You're just intimidating.
You are an overlord.
You are an overlord.
Also, at first level, you're going to get the ability to cast spells.
Yeah.
Woo! The chart for that is going to be right here.
Again, at first level, you're going to get Healing Touch, which is an interesting heal. I've never seen a heal that works quite like this. Once per day, you can spend 10 minutes to heal a creature for 5 health per mystic level that you have, which is an interesting, like, just passive, non-combat heal that can scale to pretty high numbers.
Yeah, it's a good out-of-combat heal when your party is licking their wounds. You know what I mean? Just be like...
And you just, like, you don't want to spend the resource to cast healing magic, but you need to heal someone. This is the thing to go to.
Well, and here's the key thing is that you're healing hit points and you're not healing stamina.
Right.
Because your stamina is going to come back much, much, much quicker, while health takes much longer to recover.
Yeah.
So it allows you to turn around and actually have someone that's like, yeah, I actually took for real damage. Could you deal with that? At second level, you're going to get Channel Skill.
Not Channel Skull like I thought for a long time.
Each connection has 2 skills associated with it. You gain a +1 insight bonus to each check with your connection associated skill. This bonus increases by 1 at 5th level and then every 3 levels thereafter. You're good at 2 things, really, like by default.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes up for the like not being in an intelligence-based class
Yeah.
and having 6+ your int.
I think 6 is still really good.
6 is average. Six
Yeah.
is middle of the road.
Yeah, but like for a caster specifically, just kind of like the way I expect casters to work, it's either they are intelligence reliant on and are good at skills because of that, or they're not intelligence reliant and don't end up getting very many skills. And so you kind of have to, like when I build a paladin sometimes or a cleric in other kind systems. Sorry, that's
It works.
when I build a paladin or a cleric or whatever in other systems, sometimes I feel like I have to make weird concessions. Like I need a couple skills for optimization, like I might need athletics or acrobatics or something like that. But that makes it so that I have to decide whether or not I'm going to be trained in medicine or religion. And I'm like, but hello, like, do you know who I am? I'm probably good in both of those things. And so it's just like finding a balance between optimization and reality. And I think 6 is enough to not have to deal with that.
Sure,
You know?
but you just remember that like the difference between 6 and 8, just like your base number plus your intelligence is
Yeah.
huge, because the fact to get to go from 6 to just the number 8 with your intelligence modifier,
yeah.
you're having to have at least a 14 in your intelligence.
Yeah, I definitely understand why the more skills you start with, the stronger your character is. I just think this is enough for the character.
Yeah.
And I like this because it's also giving you the effectiveness boost, maybe not the versatility boost, but the effectiveness boost in the skills that you already have,
Yeah.
which is cool. As long as you plan your character right. You could actually make this a horrible skill by not planning your character correctly. But just don't do that. Pick skills that complement your character.
Or what things you want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I mean, don't, because that could be a good flavor.
Yeah.
You're like, you're a mystic. You're a mystic that is really good with computers, but hates touching them.
Yeah. That's chill. I love that.
At second level, you're going to get Mind Link,
Okay.
which is a standard action. You can touch someone and then communicate information to them. Okay.
Okay.
And so it's kind of left open. So it's not really sure if it's like, I'm going to telepathically think to you by touching you,
Yeah.
or if it's like if you went and explored or saw something or got a map or whatever, and you need to convey that to someone else, you can touch them and convey that information.
I'm not sure. Maybe we should just test it. Do you want to test it?
How are we going to test it?
Let us know in the comments what kind of information. I'm just gonna. Do you think it? Let us know in the comments how that felt.
Yeah. Write what Krug said in the comments.
Oh, this is gonna. At third level, your character will receive the most overwhelmingly powerful ability that has ever been created for any role-playing system ever created. Indigo, can you please fill us in on what that is?
Weapon specialization.
Seriously though, why does every character get a weapon specialization at third level? I don't understand.
I feel that it should just be like, at certain levels you get feats and certain levels you get skill points.
Yeah.
It should just be like, at third level you get weapon specialization.
Yeah. I don't, it feels,
And it's honestly not the strongest feat in the world.
No. It's useful. It's just so boring though. I need to gather my thoughts.
Okay. Because here's the thing is you're gaining weapon specialization on the Envoy, which is not a weapon-based class.
Right.
You're getting weapon specialization on the Mystic, which is not a weapon specialization class. You know what I mean?
That's the piece of information. Because you're getting these talents and you're building up this momentum of fun or this this feeling of progress and growing stronger, and then you get weapon specialization and you're like, why? Why?
I don't know what to tell you, especially since other than your connection abilities and the spell progression that you gain, you don't gain anything else in this class until 11th level.
I think they could have replaced weapon specialization with something more interesting.
That could have fit the class more?
Yeah.
Look,
when
dual connections?
What is what? Oh,
I don't know.
You can touch two people?
No. Because the next thing that you're going to get is telepathic bond.
Oh.
At 11th level, you get telepathic bond, which allows you to choose up to 6 people, and you can telepathically communicate with them over great distances.
Oh, group chat spell.
Yeah.
I love group chat spells.
Yeah, it's message.
Yeah.
That, but you don't get that until 11th level, which feels a little late.
Yeah. That could be third level for sure.
Yeah.
Here's the important question. At 11th level, does their group chat spell support emojis?
No, but they do accept Venmo.
Okay, good. So you can send money? That's not true. You can't do that with this. This was all a joke. This part of this was At level 19, you get a giant fucking wall of text ability. Holy shit. This ability has so many caveats and conditions. It's insane. It's called Transcendence, and it's basically a way for you to astral project, except for on the same plane. You can't leave the plane. Let's just talk about the ability. I'm not gonna try and summarize it. F that shit. Also, in addition to the thing that we're gonna talk about in a second that has all the conditions and stuff, there's a really simple and incredibly powerful feature where you can cast each of your connection spells once per day without using a spell slot.
Yes.
That is incredibly strong.
Yes.
And definitely fits at level 19 really well.
100%.
The next piece of it, the projecting yourself, is very useful and really cool, but very, very long. So
Yes.
let's get into that. Once per day, you can spend 1 resolve point to project your consciousness outside your physical body in the form of an intangible psychic image of yourself. That is a pretty good summary of the ability. But
This counts as a 6th level illusion effect and lasts for a number of rounds equal to your mystic level.
while your consciousness is projected, your physical body is considered blind, deaf, and helpless, but you can return to your physical body as a swift action.
You control your psychic image as though it were your own body, and your senses perceive only what the image can see and hear.
You move with a fly speed of 60 feet and perfect maneuverability.
You can pass through solid objects as though you were incorporeal, but you can't go further into a solid object than a space of 5 feet or a medium creature.
You can't directly affect physical objects. Your projected consciousness is immune to most attacks or effects, whether or not they affect incorporeal creatures, but mind-affecting effects have their full effect on you. Pause. Why? This is weird. Your projected consciousness is immune to most attacks or effects. Most. There are some that affect you. It doesn't say all. Whether or not they affect incorporeal creatures. So even if it says, even if like a spell says that if it directly affects, it only affects incorporeal creatures, it still doesn't affect you. But yet, you're only immune to most attacks or, so what affects you? If the things that don't affect the thing that you are don't affect you, what affects you?
Mind-affecting effects.
But then why not just say that you're only affected by mind-affecting effects? Ah! Okay, is it because, okay, here's the thing though. The overlap there is, no, I don't like the way that, no.
Maybe
No, I'm confused.
it is mind-affecting effects that only affect
Incorporeal creatures? No, because then they would write, you are only affected by mind-affecting effects that only affect incorporeal creatures. I'm saying affect so many times that it has lost its meaning.
Or it would say, nothing affects you unless stated otherwise.
And now we've learned why they do that sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's a really good spell, and it has a really good ability to, like, because it is also making your body, like, basically sit there or lying there by itself.
Yep.
You know, so you're literally projecting and hoping no one comes to your body.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Or if you project yourself very far away from your body to help your allies, because you can still cast spells and stuff, and then you somehow have to come back to your body, you can't get back to your allies. You've instantly been transported very far away from your team. And so you're basically out of the fight. And so like using this and trying to cheese with it, like maybe you can do it for a while, but it's also very high risk.
Yeah.
Very high risk. So, you know, proceed at your own, I hate to use the word again, risk.
There is more to this spell, though.
Oh snaps.
We have not read all of the bullet points.
Oh snaps. You can't cast any spells on your projected consciousness except for illusion spells.
You need not maintain a line of effect to your projected consciousness, but if you cross into another plane, even momentarily, including via drift, travel, your mind immediately returns to its physical body. All right. It just means that you can't, like, get on a spaceship and fly. That's what, like, the drift?
Yeah.
So that basically how like light speed and like travel works in the game is that you're going into a different plane of existence and then coming out of that plane of existence into your plane of existence.
But somewhere else.
Yeah, on another
Kind of the way the obsidian portals work in Minecraft.
yeah, and so you're doing that, and so by leaving, going into a different port. Okay, sure.
Yeah. That's reasonable because that, I think, is a barrier to cheese.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, but this is the problem is they've already said you can't go into another plane of existence.
Yeah, but I think they're saying, like, this isn't an exception to the rule. Like, yes, we're actively trying to prohibit you from doing this specific thing. That's what I'm getting out of that. At level 20, you get enlightenment. You achieve enlightenment, becoming a living incarnation of your connection. You no longer age, nor do you die of old age. Once per day as a move action, you can enter a state of total communion with your connection that lasts for 1 minute. During this time, you gain a +4 insight bonus to attack rolls, saving throws, and skill checks, and you gain 20 temporary resolve points that you can only use on connection powers. Any unspent temporary resolve points disappear at the end of this minute. In addition, once per week, you can cast Miracle as a spell-like ability. 20 temporary resolve points is strong.
Oh yeah, they want you to blast.
Yeah.
This is just
like you were a glass cannon, now you're a glass ship filled with glass cannons. It's so many points to spend in a minute. That's nuts.
This is the boss fight. Let's go.
Yeah. This is
and this is level 20, so it's got to be epic, you know. And I think
that's pretty epic.
This is significantly more epic than some of the other classes that we've discussed. Like Envoy, I don't think the high level was very.
How did you go to Envoy and not Mechanic?
What was the mechanic top?
You can build items.
yeah. The mechanic level 20 was also a little.
This is like you could burst down a god. The mechanic's like, I made you a gift.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah. The mechanic is like, give me 3 minutes in this cage and I will make something. Like.
And then the Mystic by that point has already dismantled reality around itself and is destroying entire worlds.
Yeah. All right, everyone, head down in the comments and let us know what you think of the Mystic. What is its strongest aspect? What is its weakest aspect? And do you want to see us go more into spellcasting and or its connections? Because we kind of glossed over both of those, and that is the main aspect of this class. So let us know if you want to see more of that information while you're down there. Go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, hit the bell icon if you haven't, and then head over to Twitter and talk to us. You can talk to me on Twitter at IndigoQT.
And you can talk to me on Twitter at KrugQT, and you can talk to both of us at
At all of these
social media things down here. I use the old outro words again. I don't know why I am bad at that. We will see you next time. We've been GameGorgon.